Are you suffering from compiling injuries? Can't figure out what the heck's going on? Watch this.
Our next caller is Ben from North Carolina.
Ben, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
Hey guys. So first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on. I've been on the show before, and the fact it wasn't even that long ago. So the fact that you're having me on again speaks a lot about y'all's willingness to provide continued support to all of us knuckleheads out there. So we all really appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am kind of at a loss with my training and could use some direction. A little background. I'm 34. I'm 5'11", 165 pounds. I've been training for about 4 years, really consistently for the last 2. For a long time, I was doing kind of like Jay Ferrugia's programming, which is very much like lower hypertrophy training, 6 to 8 reps, not a lot of barbell lifts because it's about being joint friendly and protecting the shoulders and stuff. And then over the past year or two, switched to some of the MAPS style stuff. I have anabolic, I have performance, and I have prime. I've run into some issues that have kind of impeded my ability to progress lately, which are, for one, my shoulder. I have problems pressing. So right here on the front part of my shoulder, I have problems pressing right there. And unless I do like lots and lots and lots of ramp up sets, or focus really, really hard on trying to train around it, but that pain just always kicks in. And I've had to really scale back any kind of forward pressing stuff. And then I also have on this shoulder back here, which I think is either like mid-trap or rhomboid right along the border of the scapula. It's just this chronic like ache and stiffness that kicks in a lot, not when I'm working out, but just throughout the day. And I saw Luna PT for that, and we weren't really able to address it. She basically told me to just stop lifting for a while. She said, just use 5-pound dumbbells, and so I did for a little while and pain went away. And then lo and behold, when I started training again, the pain came back. And then on my left shoulder, I have pain on this top part right here in the lowering portion of overhead pressing. So even if I use like light resistance bands, it feels good on the way up. And then on the way down, I start to feel pain. So that's my shoulders. I've never really been able to do overhead barbell pressing because my shoulders don't like it. Same with straight barbell bench pressing. And then my low back gives me pain sometimes when I deadlift. Straight bar deadlifting has always been an issue. I have to be like really, really, really methodical and attentive to technique. And even then, sometimes I still always kind of seem to tweak it, which bleeds into my squatting as well. I know you guys have said that thoracic lack of mobility can cause compensation down there. So I know that I have some stiffness in the thoracic spine that I've been working on as well. So, just with those problems, plus I have some sleep and adrenal type of issues, which means I have to scale back the intensity with which I train so I can recover. I just kind of have all these different things I'm trying to juggle, and I'm just not sure, feeling a little directionless about how to move forward.
What do you do? What do you do for work, Ben?
So I'm a bartender for right now, but I'm actually training to be a health coach and exercise professional. So my head is filled with knowledge, which doesn't make this any easier, but bartending for work right now.
So the red flag, or should I say that one of the more important things that you said was sleep and adrenal issues. So when I work with someone and I hear pain in one area, then pain in another area, then pain somewhere else, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's all these areas that tend to bother this individual, then what tends to scream at me is that there's too much stress on the body overall, just overall too much stress. You're gonna have to scale it way down and focus really on getting your body back to normal, back to healthy. So what does that look like? I'm not sure. Depending on the program you're following, I would cut the volume way down.
Map symmetry, bro.
Yeah.
Map symmetry.
Now map symmetry would be great. However, I don't know if even that's too much volume considering some of what you're talking about. I would cut the volume way down. I'm going to send you map symmetry because I think that'll be the best program for you. But but keep it moderate intensity at highest and keep the volume down. So whatever, if we ask for 3 sets or 4 sets, cut the volume down to 1 or 2 sets and wait for your body to heal, because your body's talking to you. And yes, there's definitely acute specific issues we can focus on, but the bigger picture looks like your body just overall is having a tough time adapting to whatever stresses you're putting upon it. Mm-hmm. And remember, stress can be lack of sleep, it could be lifestyle, it could be diet, it could be gut issues. That's often an issue. So try to figure out what are these stressors, get your body back to homeostasis, and then you can ramp up the volume. So I don't think you should stop exercising, but I do think you should really, really cut the volume down, really cut the intensity down, and focus on getting your body back to where it's starting to feel good.
And also to, as far as the shoulder issues and instability. And so you said you had Prime or Prime Pro?
I have Prime. Yeah.
Prime. Okay. So, and you're doing the wall test specifically in some like shoulder circles and things to identify. I think that, really taking an approach there with map symmetry, with adding in other like addressing a lot of those instabilities. So say like a bottoms up kettlebell press where now, I have to like the entire intention of that exercise is to address lateral stability in the shoulder. Same thing being like, any of the rotation elements of instability. So taking a kettlebell or a dumbbell and doing a halo with that. And just kind of working very gradually on addressing where that, where that lies, where I can kind of peer into more to gain that kind of, muscle tension to support around the shoulder and bulletproof it. So, that would be my two suggestions, as well as like overhead carries and really just like gradually taking that, approach of just like trying to maintain support and packing the shoulder properly.
I want to make sure though, Ben, you understand what I'm saying though, is don't do more. Right. So what Justin's saying right now is changing what you're doing.
Yeah, regressing it down to addressing the instability.
Don't throw more on top. You said adrenal issues. I want to ask you, what do you mean by that, or how do you mean by that? Did you get tested for hormones and?
Well, no. So basically, through all my research and the years of trial and error and stuff like that, and also my training. So I'm a board certified health coach, so I've gone through. I have a lot of different like pieces of resources to show what adrenal symptoms look like. Like waking up tired, even if you've already slept at night, just fatigue throughout the day, like lightheadedness when you stand up too fast. Those are all symptoms of like low blood pressure from adrenal issues, and needing caffeine to get going in the day. Even though I don't drink that much. I totally hear what you're saying about doing less, and I'm very big about doing less. And I have been doing less for like the last couple months to try and like find what that sweet spot is of like what volume is enough that I can recover adequately, but also don't like quit entirely. And it's been this like delicate dance I'm doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So fatigue type of stuff.
Ben, have you gotten tested for specifically for your hormones and any nutrient deficiencies? And have you had any gut health tests done?
Yeah, so I did the minerals and metals test and the Candida metabolic test through the Cabral people.
Oh, okay.
And they, we kind of got somewhere, but the main takeaway was that more testing is needed, unfortunately.
Okay, so I would really work with them because what you're telling me right now sounds like your body has an inability at the moment to deal with stress, and you've already cut down things over the last 2 months, and you still feel crappy. So that screams to me that there's something that you haven't identified yet, and unless you identify it, doing more or less, whatever. I mean, you could get to the point where you do so little, you start to feel kind of okay, but then like, what do? You got to live there. So, so I would work with Dr. Cabral's team and get to the bottom of this. Figure out what the root is. It could be a gut issue. I mean, it really could be as easy as a gut issue, and treating that and figuring out kind of what's going on there. It could also be, I mean, you did the toxicity test, I think you said. So I would go further with them and really find the root cause, because again, what's coming to me off what you're saying is your body seems to have an inability to deal with stress at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long-standing journey of doing the detective work, just like trying out I've taken a couple of their gut health protocols as per the recommendation of the health coach, and it's kind of like 50-50 if I actually like got much out of it, so I'm never giving up on it, but that's just kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Reframe the way you feel and think about it right now. I know it can be frustrating and feel daunting and stuff like that, but just, because of the profession you're going into, Ben, this is what's going to make you a great health coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see it as an opportunity to learn, because I'm going to deal with people who have these kinds of problems as well.
Right.
So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. So, and I agree with Sal.
dive deeper into Cabral stuff. I mean, that guy is just a wealth of knowledge. So as much as you can go through with him and learn from him to help that. And then eventually I do think that the program is Symmetry. So I know Doug's going to send Symmetry over to you because and that's addressing all the shoulder stuff that we're talking about. I just think the unilateral work, the isometric work that's in there is going to be ideal for you, and then complementing it with Prime, which you already have. So I do think that's a move, but I do think that if you don't solve the root cause that's going on, and it could be something gut related that Cabral could help you with, then it doesn't matter what we send you program wise, you're going to keep running the same issue.
Yeah, and I'm guessing to the best of my ability, but the testing is what's going to tell you. You know, I remember I had a client once who had these kind of neurological issues. She would feel like tingling and pain in her fingertips, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And she thought she had to take more B vitamins. Maybe anyway, finally convinced her to do lots and lots of testing. It took a while. You know what it was? She was taking too many B vitamins. It was the opposite of what she thought. So had she not done all that testing, she would have never figured it out. And it would have been one of these lifelong kind of issues, So I'd say go through all the testing they recommend and get to the bottom. And once you figure that out, then your body's ability to adapt to stress will get back to normal. You can start training again.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. And so regarding Symmetry, just, don't, scale back the volume and intensity of it, but still be active. Just that's the style of movement you would recommend. Basically.
Yes. But I would put the functional medicine though at the core of everything that you're doing. So if they say we want you to stop everything right now, I would listen to them.
Yep, sure. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. All right, Ben. Thanks for calling in, man.
All right. Yeah, thanks for your help, guys.
No problem. Yeah, that's a tough one, but you could tell you could see through his energy and stuff as he's talking.
That's why I told him to reframe.
Yeah, he's frustrated.
That's why I was trying to tell him to reframe.
Well, I could just also see that his body seems fatigued, and he's talking about shoulder pain, the back pain, then this. I'm like, oh, your body's not adapting well. There's something.
It's just screaming at you.
Yep.
It's just screaming at you from all angles, and it's less about all those areas, and it's more about what's going on inside for sure.
Yeah.
It just sort of pressures the hinges at that point.
These are the guys that end up, these guys and girls that make incredible coaches.
That's true.
Because they went through so much trying to solve all these
100%.
issues and problems, and then when they do, I mean, they have an ability to communicate at an even deeper level than I can communicate this information to him, because he's gone through this journey. And there's a lot of people that do this, that just, they think it's the shoulder, they think it's this, and there's this underlining issue that they're not addressing.
Dude, when I had my worst gut issues, I had to devote a year to solving that issue. And that meant I didn't train the way I used to like to train. That meant I couldn't eat the way I like to eat. But after that year, it was like, I got back to normal. Now, I could have ignored it and pushed and cut the volume down and tried to do all this other stuff, and it would have never fixed itself. So you got to get to the root cause. And if you're noticing chronic compiling issues, then it may not be the shoulder, it may not be the hip, it may not be the knee, it may be something deeper that's preventing your body from being able to adapt.
Well, I remember how hard it was in that environment of like being a bartender, like to get adequate sleep and just what kind of stress it brings. So it's like, maybe a product of the environment on top of other things. So yeah, it just has to get down to what's really causing it all.
Yeah.